They met on a Tuesday, which is somehow the most unremarkable detail about the whole thing. That was the whole beginning. A hot water bottle and eye contact that lasted maybe 2 seconds too long. And from that point forward, every single person around them could feel it. Here's what nobody talks about when they talk about chemistry. We act like it is this gift. Like two people who light up around each other have been handed something rare and precious. Something to protect and nurture. We write songs about it, make movies about it, tell the story at every dinner party for the rest of our lives. The hot water bottle becomes the opening line of a love story we have already decided has a happy ending. But what if chemistry is not a gift? What if sometimes it is a distraction? I want you to stay with me on this because by the end of this video, I think you are going to look at intense connection very differently. This might be the thing you needed to hear. So let us go back to them. Within 3 weeks, they were inseparable. Within 6 weeks, people were already saying things like, they are just so perfect together, and you can just tell. And the thing is, they were not wrong. When those two people were in the same room, there was a current running between them that everyone could feel. Conversations flowed without effort. Humor landed perfectly. They finished each other's sentences in a way that felt almost eerie. And here is where it gets psychologically interesting. When we experience that kind of connection, our brain starts doing something dangerous. It begins confirming the story it has already decided to tell. Psychologists call this confirmation bias, but in relationships it looks like this. You start interpreting everything your partner does through the lens of the connection you felt in those first moments. They cancel plans and you call it spontaneous. They go quiet and you call it mysterious depth. They push back hard in an argument and you call it passion. The chemistry becomes a filter and everything passes through it looking better than it actually is. She started noticing things around month 4. Small things at first. The way he talked over her when other people were around but was endlessly attentive when they were alone. The way he never once asked about her life before they met, as if she had simply materialized into existence the moment he noticed her. She told herself it was just his personality. She told herself that what they had was too rare to question. And that right there is the trap. Because the same intensity that makes chemistry feel like a revelation can also make it feel like something worth protecting at any cost. We become so invested in the feeling that we start defending the relationship against our own doubts, against our own instincts. We gaslight ourselves before anyone else gets the chance. Researchers who study attachment and early relationship dynamics have found that high intensity, when everything feels accelerated, when you feel like you have known someone for years within weeks, you move past the getting to know you stage so fast that you never actually complete it. You feel known without being known. And the person on the other side? They are experiencing exactly the same shortcut. Which means two people can fall deeply into something built almost entirely on projection and reflection. Because the chemistry is generating so much warmth that neither one can see clearly. This is month 7 now. The arguments started. Not gentle disagreements. Real arguments, the kind with edges. And what was revealing was not that they argued, but what happened after. He had a way of ending conflict by simply being charming again. Turning it back on. The smile, the humor, the magnetic pull, all switched back on like a performance, and she would feel herself softening before she had actually resolved anything. The chemistry was being used as a reset button, a way of moving past the thing instead of through it. She brought it up eventually, said she needed them to actually talk through things, not just charm their way to the other side. He looked at her with complete sincerity and said he had no idea what she meant, and she almost believed him. The answer is that feelings are not a verdict. They are information. And chemistry, specifically, is information about compatibility in one very narrow register. It tells you that something is there. It does not tell you what that something is made of. It does not tell you if it can hold weight over time, if it can survive disagreement, if it can coexist with honesty and discomfort and growth. Attraction reveals desire. It does not reveal character. And we spend so much of our romantic lives confusing the two. He was someone who was exceptional at connection on the surface. Warm, funny, magnetic. All of it real and all of it limited to a specific depth. To actually change something about himself, the connection would reroute. Back to charm. Back to the current. Ending it did not feel like relief. It felt like grief, because the chemistry was not fake, what it hid was real too. Both of those things were true at the same time. Here is what I want you to take from this. When you meet someone and the connection is immediate and overwhelming, that feeling deserves respect, but not blind trust. Let it be the beginning of your curiosity, not the conclusion of it. The chemistry is the invitation. What happens after you accept the invitation is the actual story. Ask yourself whether the intensity is creating space for you to be fully known or whether it is filling in the gaps before the knowing even happens. Ask yourself whether the connection deepens when things get hard or whether it conveniently reappears after the hard thing gets sidestepped. Ask yourself if you are moving toward this person or if you are moving toward the feeling. Those are not the same thing. The people who have the most extraordinary relationships are not necessarily the ones who felt the most intensity at the start. They are the ones who stayed curious after the intensity arrived, who treated the electricity as a starting point rather than a proof, who asked harder questions even when the feeling made it very easy not to. She is doing better now, by the way. The grief did what grief does, it moved. And somewhere on the other side of it, she started paying attention to different things, quieter things. Less fireworks, more consistency, less magic, more honesty. She says it is better. Not louder, but better. If this hit something for you, stay right here because the next video is going to go even deeper into the patterns we build around attraction and why the most dangerous relationships are often the ones that felt most like destiny.